Did you know that more than 100 million men worldwide use medications like Tadalafil every single year? It's often seen as a quick fix, a confidence booster, or even a performance enhancer for special occasions. But what if I told you that behind the promise of better intimacy, there are hidden side effects that could quietly harm your body? Some of them so dangerous, they could leave permanent damage if ignored. Now, before you rush to throw away your pills, or on the other hand, keep using them without concern, stay with me. Because in this video, we'll uncover 6 of the most common side effects of Tadalafil, from the ones that are just uncomfortable to the one that doctors call a true medical emergency. And here's the twist. I'll only reveal the most dangerous one, the one that can cause irreversible consequences when we reach the later part of this video. So if you or someone you love has ever thought about using Tadalafil or is already taking it, this is the video you cannot afford to skip. Tadalafil, more commonly known by its brand name Cialis, is part of a family of drugs called PDE5 inhibitors. Originally developed to treat erectile dysfunction, it works by relaxing blood vessels and improving blood flow. That's why it helps men achieve and maintain an erection. But here's something many people don't realize. Tadalafil is not just about sexual health anymore. In fact, it's also prescribed for benign prostatic hyperplasia, an enlarged prostate that causes urinary problems, and even for pulmonary hypertension, a condition where blood pressure in the lungs is dangerously high. And because Tadalafil can last up to 36 hours, it quickly earned the nickname the weekend pill. No need to plan intimacy down to the minute, just one dose, and many users report confidence for almost 2 days. But here's where things get interesting. The popularity of Tadalafil has gone far beyond what doctors expected. Some men, and even women, are now using it without prescriptions, buying it online, or mixing it with other substances, without understanding the risks. And that's exactly why this conversation is critical. Because while it may sound like a miracle pill, the reality is that every drug has a cost. And with Tadalafil, the price isn't just money, it can be your health. In the next chapter, we'll uncover the first and most common side effect of Tadalafil, one that millions of users feel within hours of taking it, but very few talk about openly. And if you've ever experienced it, you'll know exactly what I mean. One of the most common complaints among Tadalafil users is the sudden onset of headaches. And we're not talking about a light pressure. You might feel a pounding sensation that can last for hours. But why does this happen? The answer lies in how Tadalafil works. Remember, this drug relaxes and widens blood vessels to improve circulation. While that helps blood flow where you want it, it also causes blood vessels in the brain to expand. That expansion can trigger what doctors call vascular headaches. Studies show that up to 15% of Tadalafil users report this side effect. For some, it's mild and tolerable, but for others, it can be so uncomfortable that they stop taking the medication altogether. Here's something interesting. Many people try to push through these headaches, believing they'll just get used to it. But in some cases, the headaches actually become worse with continued use. And here's the kicker. If you already suffer from migraines, Tadalafil may make them more frequent or more intense. Now, does that mean headaches are dangerous? Not always. But they can be a warning sign that your body is under stress. And ignoring signals from your body is one of the biggest mistakes people make with this drug. Coming up next, we'll move beyond the head and into the stomach. Because the second side effect might surprise you, it has nothing to do with intimacy, but everything to do with how your body processes the pill. Now, here's a side effect that often catches people off guard: indigestion and acid reflux. You might wonder, why would a pill meant for circulation affect my stomach? The answer is fascinating. Tadalafil relaxes smooth muscles, not only in blood vessels but also in other parts of the body, including the esophagus. This relaxation can allow stomach acid to travel upward, causing heartburn, bloating, and even nausea. According to clinical data, around 10% of users experience some form of digestive discomfort after taking Tadalafil. For some, it's mild, just a bit of burning after a meal. But for others, it can feel like a full-blown case of acid reflux disease. And here's where it gets tricky. Many people assume these stomach issues are just from what they ate that night. They blame the spicy food, the wine, or the late dinner. But in reality, it's often the Tadalafil working silently in the background. Some users even report needing to sleep sitting upright after taking the pill, because lying flat worsens the reflux. And for people who already struggle with gastritis or GERD, Tadalafil can amplify those symptoms. So while indigestion might not sound as alarming as a headache, it's a clear sign that the drug is affecting more than just your circulation. And speaking of surprising effects, the next chapter will take us away from the stomach and into the eyes. Because yes, Tadalafil can literally change the way you see the world. Imagine taking a pill to improve your intimacy, and a few hours later, you notice that the world around you looks different. Some users report that colors appear distorted. For example, blue and green may become harder to distinguish. Others describe sudden blurred vision, increased sensitivity to light, or even temporary difficulty focusing. But why does this happen? Tadalafil, as a PDE5 inhibitor, doesn't only affect blood vessels. In rare cases, it can also interfere with PDE6, an enzyme found in the retina, the part of your eye that processes light. When that enzyme is disrupted, your eyes may send unusual signals to your brain, creating these strange visual effects. Now here's where things get serious. While mild visual disturbances can fade within hours, there have been rare but documented cases of a condition called NAION, non-arteritic anterior ischemic optic neuropathy. In simple terms, this means a sudden loss of vision due to reduced blood flow to the optic nerve. Although extremely rare, the risk is higher in people with diabetes, high blood pressure, or existing eye problems. Which means, if you ever notice sudden changes in vision after taking Tadalafil, it's not something to brush off. It's a medical red flag. And here's a question for you. If a pill can affect your eyes in such a dramatic way, what else could it be doing to muscles, joints, or even your back? The answer lies ahead, because in the next chapter, we'll explore side effect number 4, muscle pain and back pain, a side effect that can show up hours later, often when you least expect it. Here's a side effect that often surprises users: muscle pain and back pain. It usually appears 12 to 24 hours after taking Tadalafil, and for some, it can feel like they've just done an intense workout, even if they haven't lifted a finger. But why would a pill designed for blood flow cause sore muscles? The explanation lies in how Tadalafil affects blood circulation. By dilating blood vessels throughout the body, it can alter how muscles receive oxygen and nutrients. In some people, this leads to a feeling of stiffness, aching, or heaviness, particularly in the lower back and legs. A fascinating detail: these pains often appear the next day, not immediately. That's because Tadalafil stays active in the body for up to 36 hours. So even when you think the pill has worn off, your muscles may still be reacting. Most of the time, the discomfort is mild and temporary. But for some, the pain can be strong enough to interfere with daily activities, making it hard to bend, walk, or even sleep comfortably. And here's the tricky part: many users don't connect the dots. They assume the pain came from bad posture, exercise, or even sleeping wrong. But in reality, it may be directly tied to the pill. For people with pre-existing back problems or arthritis, this side effect can feel much worse, adding another layer of risk. Now, if muscle pain seems inconvenient, wait until you hear what comes next, because the 5th side effect is strange, uncomfortable, and often dismissed as just a cold. But in reality, it's one of the most overlooked warning signs of Tadalafil use. Here's one you might not expect. After taking Tadalafil, many people suddenly feel like they're catching a cold. Their nose gets stuffy, breathing feels heavy, and some even start snoring louder than usual that night. So what's happening? Tadalafil works by widening blood vessels, but that effect isn't limited to the groin or the muscles. It also happens in the tiny vessels inside your nose. The result: nasal congestion. Your airways swell, mucus production can increase, and suddenly you're reaching for tissues. Research shows that around 9 to 12% of users report this side effect. While it might sound harmless, it can actually make sleep restless and low quality, and poor sleep in turn has a ripple effect. affecting your mood, energy, and even cardiovascular health. Here's an interesting twist. Many people mistake this reaction for allergies or seasonal sinus issues, when in fact it's the medication quietly altering their circulation. Now, while a stuffy nose isn't usually dangerous on its own, it serves as another reminder that Tadalafil doesn't act in just one place. It affects your entire body. But congestion is nothing compared to what's next. Because in the following chapter, we'll explore a side effect that isn't just uncomfortable, it's a medical emergency, and ignoring it could lead to permanent consequences. Up until now, we've talked about side effects that are mostly uncomfortable or annoying, but this next one is very different. It's a true medical emergency. It's called priapism, which means an erection lasting longer than 4 hours. Now, at first, some might think, isn't that the whole point of the medication? But here's the dangerous truth. An erection that lasts too long can actually damage the tissue inside the penis permanently. Why? During a prolonged erection, blood gets trapped inside the erectile tissue and can't flow back out. This lack of circulation means the tissue isn't getting oxygen. The longer it lasts, the greater the risk of irreversible scarring and even long-term erectile dysfunction. Doctors warn that if you ever experience this, it is not something to wait out. The clock is ticking. You need to go to the emergency room immediately. And here's the open loop we've been building since the start. Among all side effects, this is the one that can leave permanent damage if ignored. In other words, the very pill taken to enhance sexual performance can, in extreme cases, destroy it forever. This side effect is rare, but it is real, and anyone taking Tadalafil must be aware of it. Now, in the final chapter, we'll put everything together. We'll talk about when to stop, what to watch for, and the #1 mistake new users make, a mistake that can put their health at serious risk. By now, you've seen that Tadalafil is not just a simple pill. It affects the entire body, from the head and stomach to the eyes, muscles, nose, and even your most intimate health. So, the question is, when should you stop and what should you watch out for? Here are 3 key rules every user should know. Stop immediately if you notice vision changes, chest pain, or an erection lasting more than 4 hours. These are emergency signals that require urgent medical attention. Pay attention to patterns. If headaches, stomach issues, or back pain keep coming back after every dose, your body is clearly telling you something. Don't ignore it. Report it to your doctor. Never combine Tadalafil with nitrate medications or recreational poppers. This mix can cause a dangerous drop in blood pressure, sometimes fatally. And here's the biggest mistake beginners make: believing that because the pill is available online, it's safe to take without guidance. The truth is, many people self-prescribe the wrong dose, use it too frequently, or combine it with alcohol and other substances. That's when risks multiply. So, if you or someone you love is considering Tadalafil, remember this: it can be safe and effective only when used responsibly and under medical supervision. Coming up, I'll give you a practical summary and some healthier alternatives that can naturally boost circulation and intimacy without the risks we've discussed. So, let's bring this full circle. Tadalafil is not just the weekend pill. It's a powerful medication that can improve quality of life when used correctly, but it can also bring serious risks if taken carelessly. We uncovered 6 side effects: headaches that pound and persist, digestive troubles that mimic reflux disease, vision changes that can feel frightening, muscle and back pain that creep in the next day, a stuffy nose that disrupts your sleep, and most importantly, the rare but dangerous risk of priapism, the side effect that can cause permanent damage if ignored. Here's the truth: the pill may boost confidence, but ignoring these warnings can cost you much more. That's why the smartest step is to always discuss it with your doctor, especially if you have conditions like diabetes, hypertension, or heart disease. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you, or someone you know, ever experienced any of these side effects? Share your story in the comments. Your experience might help someone else make a safer decision. And if this video gave you clarity, make sure to like it, share it with friends who might be at risk, and subscribe to our channel for more eye-opening health insights. Finally, don't leave yet. If you want to discover natural, science-backed ways to improve circulation and intimacy without relying on medication, click on this next video right here. It might just change the way you think about long-term health. Stay safe, stay informed, and take care of your health, because prevention is always the best medicine.